Hey guys, it's Asenik here, and I'm here to do a top 30 favorite films. Yeah, and yeah, sorry, I just need to get some better light. But I'm here to do my top 30 favorite films, which I've seen a bunch of different YouTubers do. They have done 100s, and I don't have 100, so I'm just gonna do top 30, which I do have my IMDb, which I have to change a bit because there's a few titles that changed, yeah. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right to it. Number 30, which is Haldis. This is a British horror film. It's okay, it's not. I wouldn't say it's the most amazing film, like visually, but it has a lot of good moments and some touching moments that really makes it worth seeing, so check it out. It's pretty. Not the best CGI, but I do enjoy it quite a lot because of the ending, and it's just a really interesting film. Number 29 is Silence of the Lambs. Great performance by Anthony Hopkins. Jodie Foster is also very good in this movie, and yeah, they both won Oscars for their roles, and this is kind of their comeback into the mainstream. So, great movie. I read the original. And no, I actually haven't read. I tried to read the book, but I did read what is called like the original Hannibal Rising. So yeah, Hannibal Lecter is very, very scary and very not the kind of guy you want to be meet in a dark alley in the middle of night. So number 28 is The Amazing Spider-Man, which some people tend to dislike. I personally think it's a bit more serious, a bit more well made. It has a bit more, better special effects, obviously, because the original Spider-Man was something different, and I don't know, I just feel like it followed a bit more things from the comic books, or actually just saw the anime series, and that followed it a bit more, so yeah, that's number 28. And then number 20, 20, yeah, number 27 is Life is Beautiful, which I do not have, but it's a great Italian drama about this guy who basically works as a clown, I think, and then he has to he gets taken to during Second World War. He goes to this camp, this what's it called, like concentration camp, and he end up well, I don't want to spoil the ending, but he has to sort of make his son understand that everything's still fine. They're just doing this game where they can win and then they can go home with a big prize or something. But it's a pretty tragic movie, but also very beautiful, full of love life. Number 26 is The Dark Knight Returns. If I can just find the cover somewhere. I'm not too sure where they are on these two, because I have these two Tim Burton collection DVDs. So I have to see if I can. Yeah, here we go. Yes. There's Catwoman and the Penguin. The Penguin is played by Dan DeVito, and Michelle Pfeiffer does Catwoman, and their roles are probably something of the best part of the film, along with the the gothic setting and everything. It's just a really great movie. So that's Dark Knight Returns. Number 20. Let's see. Number 25 is V for Vendetta, a movie that is based on the comic book. Now, I have read the comic book, and in the comic book there's a few changes, like, well, I guess might want to find out yourself what is the thing with V, but something is different with V in the comic book. And of course it's a bit longer, but still a great film. Not necessarily the best superhero movie, but I do feel it's a pretty good one. And number 24 is Akira. This is a bit hard to explain what it's exactly about. It's basically like a post-apocalyptic movie where it's like in Neo-Tokyo, which is Tokyo in the future, and we have this guy who's trying to kind of just live his life, and a lot of different things happen. A very, very beautiful and very good film. This is actually the film that introduced the Western world to sort of Japanese animation. So that's that. Number 23, which I don't own, is Snowpiercer. Kind of something that I threw in there. I think like I kind of had to feel like I had to change the list, but Snowpiercer is a great film. It's a hell of a ride. It's really just probably maybe one of, well, I could say it's the best from last year, but just feel like it's very, very good, and I really need some sort of Korean film. Although it's kind of with the Man with No Name trilogy, where it's the Italian director, but he has a Korean director. But in both movies, the main characters are English. But if you haven't seen it, it's basically about these people who are on a train, and then they're like the last people alive. So the poor people are in like back of the train, and the wealthy people are in front of the train, and basically about how they kind of escape or try to escape. It's a great film. Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Now, usually people say, is it this or this first one that's the best? And I feel like it's the second one because there's a bit more characters. The story feels more serious. There's a lot of just great animation, a lot of great 3D effects. Just amazing. This film still holds up today. Number 21 is Aliens, not Alien. Aliens. Yeah, but an S. But Aliens is a great film. It's a bit more action packed than the first one, which is a bit more like Alien, like is a horror film, and then Aliens is like a bit more of an action film, and sort of the same sort of idea, be out in space, and there's an alien that's trying to attack this space place. I think they're trying to get into some. I don't remember completely. I'm completely recall what the storyline is, but it's a very good film. Great rewrite. Got number 20. No, actually, number 20 is Alexander, which is a bit of an underrated movie because we get a lot of different things. I feel like it's a very grand and very good movie. A lot of people say that, like Gladiators, that are favorite sort of Roman / whatever empire, but I really feel like it has a lot of cool characters, and yeah, I don't know whether it's the best movie ever, but I like it a lot. So yeah. Then number 20 is, it actually used to be Return of the King, but I have to admit I kind of like the original Fellowship of the Ring a bit better, just because there's a lot of you cannot get thrown into the universe, and then you don't feel sad like you do at the end because you know it's over. But then again, you kind of feel like just then you're back in again and again. We got The Godfather at number 19 were Lord of the Rings. Number 18 is The Godfather, the original Godfather Part 1. Great movie with some great acting, what is it? Al Pacino and along with Marlon Brando is just great in this film. And all the other actors are great, and there's a lot of great music, and it's kind of a movie that kind of tries to show how the gang's life was back in the 30s, I think, something, and then it's kind of trying to sort of understand why they do it, and well, maybe it's most of us just about their life, and yeah. Number 17 is Nightmare on Elm Street Volume 1, on number 1, and I just realized I don't have a number 16. That's not the greatest way. But Nightmare on Elm Street the original is very good. It's a creepy movie with a lot of elements that weren't like Halloween, and later on I think this was like after Friday the 13th, with the great Freddy, and a lot of cool special effects and great film. Then my 16 minutes gonna go get. Yeah, sorry about that. But my number 16 is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which is just a great western, has a lot of cool moments in it, great soundtrack, and it's one of the few westerns, I have to say, where it really wanted me to see the ending, and it's just amazing, Clint Eastwood, a lot of just two other guys, I don't really know who they are played by, but that's great. And number 15 is Grave of the Fireflies, which I do not have a copy of. I don't know, I can't have every movie. But Grave of the Fireflies is a sort of a Second World War movie, which was sad compared to all Studio Ghibli films. But it is a great movie. It has a lot of really just sad moments and a lot of death, but it is a very beautiful movie also. So that's that. Number 14, which used to be my favorite, but I have to admit I've changed my favorite Disney movie, and this is Ratatouille. I've used to watch this whenever I kind of feel a migraine or something. Would watch this, and this is a great movie. This rat wants to be a cook, and then he helps this guy sort of to the top so they can, try and become real successful chefs and take over the original guy. I don't, what is this called exactly? That's this guy who's died, and then basically the rat wants to be the new cook. Wants to be the new sort of first, wants to bring the restaurant back to its prime and everything, and just make it great again. And a lot of stuff happens. Really cool ending as well. So number 13 is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Now I used to have the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but I have to admit this movie is, as much as I love Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I have to admit this movie has a slight better acting. It has not better effects really, but has better acting. Has a lot of cool songs that I feel is kind of a bit more memorable, and it has a lot of, it has what is his name? Why do I not remember what his name is? Gene Wilder. He's a great guy too, great actor, great comedian and actor, and then number 12 we have The Dark Knight, which I watched in theaters, and after like this is probably my favorite, I would say. Dark Knight Returns is still number 2. I just feel this movie is better made. It has everything that's amazing. Dark Knight Returns is still a great movie, and if you like it more than The Dark Knight, any other is fine. I just feel like this movie is very well made and has a lot of really cool, characters. Two-Face, my all-time favorite Batman villain. I also thought, what's it called? Oh, such a terrible review. Aaron Eckhart is like probably the best role and probably one of the only roles I've seen him in, but he's good as well as Heath Ledger and Christian Bale. And then for number 11 we have The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is my all-time favorite Disney movie and my second favorite animated movie of all time. It's just amazing, and I really love there's a bit more controversial behind this movie, a bit more, stuff about the afterlife and a bit more adult stuff in this movie. And I just feel it makes it a bit better than some Disney movies. It's my personal opinion that is my favorite, and just very well made and very, very powerful. And then for number 10 we have Rocky, the original Rocky from 1976. Also a poster. The poster of Rocky right there. I love this movie. I watched the original back in 2012, and I watched all the sequel like 2013. But it's just a great movie, one of the best dramas out there, and it just has a really, really cool lineup. There's a lot of cool fighting, and the story is really interesting, and I just find it really heartwarming as well, and just great. And number 9 is Interstellar. Yet another movie I don't have because you can't buy it yet. I would like to buy the Blu-ray, but it's not out yet, so yeah. But Interstellar is a great movie. It has amazing special effects, and it's probably my favorite science fiction movie. And I don't like science fiction that much, but this movie is just amazing. I really love it so much that I even have a poster over there of it, and that's a great movie, great acting, and watch it when it's out. It's great. And we have Ed Wood with John Depp, my favorite Tim Burton movie, and the guy who plays well, basically the film is about this guy Ed Wood, who wants to make movies, but he has to make low budget movies because no one really wants to have take the ideas he has, and he has to actually eventually have to go to this director who has to sort of make money off the movie. He doesn't care about the movie or film in general. He just wants to make something that can just earn a lot of money. So he takes Bela Lugosi, which Ed Wood. This guy Martin Landau plays Bela Lugosi, the original Dracula, one of the first Dracula, anyways, and makes a movie. And it's just a really well-made movie, and it's really captivating, and I really enjoy it. So yeah. And here number 8 we have Ed Wood, which is The Crow, not Ed Wood. I've been talking for too long. Anyway, The Crow is Brandon Lee. I have the original comic book, and this movie is a bit different than most superhero movies. I feel it has a bit smaller budget, but I really do enjoy this a lot. And also have the poster over there. I do have the soundtrack. Albeit the soundtrack is broken, so yeah. But a great movie, about this guy who comes back from the death. Oh, he comes back from the grave, I should say. And he's really cool, and he has a raven that kind of have all his powers. So if you sort of touch the raven or kills it, then he also dies. So the crow, not the raven. It's the same thing. The guy, and as well as the raven itself, I guess. And we have number 6, Departures, which is a great Japanese drama. I had hold on to watching this for so long until I got into a bit more films with a different language than English and not everything. So the movie is just great, and it's just beautiful. It's about this guy right here. He's not really like someone who, he's not like the kind of grave digger or whatever you want to call him nowadays, who just put people in the grave. He basically, when people die, he basically sort of puts makeup on and dress them up, make them look good when they're going to the funeral and everything. So it's a job that's very not a lot of people want, but it gives good money, and he really loves his job. So he's just struggling about like people, even his wife. His wife doesn't even like him doing the job, so he has a lot of trouble with that. But this is just a beautiful movie, and it's one of the all-time best dramas, I would say. Probably my second favorite. And then my number 1 favorite drama of all time is The Green Mile, and is also number 5. This has Michael Clarke Duncan. Right here, he plays an inmate who is insane, or I don't know if he's insane. He's more like sort of mentally challenged, maybe it's like Down syndrome or something along those lines. And then the jail guard, or whatever you want to call it, prison guard, who basically works at the death row, and this guy just they sort of form a friendship, and a lot of cool stuff happens, with him being able to have some special powers and everything. And it's Stephen King, based on a Stephen King book, and it's, in my opinion, it's better than Shawshank Redemption, which I think is way too overrated. But this is just great movie, long movie, 3 hours, but it's definitely worth it if you want to check it out. Then number 4 we have Clockwork Orange, or A Clockwork Orange. Just a second. All this talking. Clockwork Orange, which has Malcolm McDowell, and it's directed by Stanley Kubrick. And this is a very hard to watch movie with a lot of violence and all kinds of drug use and rape. But it's also about free will, and we have this character who's in a gang, and he kind of gets put in a jail after all these crimes, and then eventually he kind of gets put in the project where he gets this thing on his eyes are open like this, and he sort of get drops while he's just like he can't move because of this what I call like straight jacket, like an insane asylum. and then you have to watch all these kind of violence images from the Second World War and other gangs, and he just he gets this medicine, which means he just feels bad whenever he sees sexual action or violence. So that's kind of what the movie is about, free will. And we got Halloween, John Carpenter's on number 3. This is a great movie, one of the best, if not the best, horror movies in my opinion. And it has great cast, Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald, what is he called? Yeah, I don't remember what the guy is called. What is he called? Don Pleasence. He plays, Dr. Loomis, and we have this guy, Michael Myers, who probably all people know. He has this white mask on, and he goes around killing people because of all kinds of stuff that happened to him. He's just kind of effed up, and then he goes after Jamie Lee Curtis, where it kind of just takes off there. But a great, very low budget horror movie, one of the best horror movies ever made, and just great. We have number 2, which is Seven Samurai. This movie I've been recommended and heard about on other YouTube channels, and great movie, made by Akira Kurosawa, about this poor village which get raided every year by these bandits, and they hire these 7 samurais to sort of defend them and everything. And this is just, it's a great flick, 3.5 hours I think actually. But it's a bit more, I feel like it has a bit more just the violence, which is on like the last hour or something, hour and a half of the film. And it's just really grand and great, and just really watch it if you like older movies or Japanese films in general. And then we have gone to number 1. This is my pretty much all-time favorite movie of all time, Howl's Moving Castle. This movie I watched when I was back in 2004, when I was like 9 or 10 in theaters, and it's just great characters, great cool story, and really neat place, and very, very colorful, and also have a few dark elements, but really a grand to look at. It doesn't have that huge sense of fear in it as much as it's just like a journey you go on, just experience this world that they're in. It's a great movie, my favorite movie of all time, and I really like it. So yeah, Howl's Moving Castle, great film. So that was my top 30, guys. If you want to see more videos, I'm gonna be uploading another unboxing sometime or something really great I'm getting in the mail at some point, and some other videos. So if you want to watch more, stay tuned. And this is my top 30 films ever. Favorite films, my favorite films. You can see, big stack, along with these as well. So I'll see you guys later and for another video, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you would like to post your top 30 in the description or something like that. But this is me, Sassy Nick, and I am out. Yeah, bye.